Hello everybody, my name is Gettykey122 and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, we completed another case which actually acted as sort of a midquel between this current second game and the previous game of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And now, hopefully, we're going to be moving toward the present. But I can't really say that for certain. There's not really a clear indicator as to where this is going to go, but it seemed as though last time we got some sort of hint that this collar that we found at the end of the previous case had some greater mystery behind it that we've yet to find out. So hopefully we'll figure out something related to this, and if not, we'll start a great case regardless, because all the cases in these games have just been fantastic.
The grand end of the century Great Exhibition of London. Surely there is not a soul who has failed to hear of it. Wondrous new works of culture and industry from every corner of the globe had converged on Hyde Park, welcoming over 50 million visitors. The last great hurrah of this century. Astonished and delighted people of all nations, and ended on a note of resounding success. But as regards to the terrible catastrophe that occurred during the festivities, very few are aware my friend Mr. Herlock Sholmes had a hand in unraveling the matter. For from the shadows, it was he who earnestly unearthed the facts of the case. And like the centerpiece of the Great Exhibition, which rose high into the skies of Hyde Park, Sholmes's brilliant deductions, as clear and lofty as the Crystal Tower itself, brought the truth to light.
We're here at the showground of the Great Exhibition, which is absolutely packed with people. The weather is unusually fine, and we're about to witness a most extraordinary scientific experiment. Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century will see steam engines and electrical power dominate the world. Horse-drawn carts will give way to the motor car. Ships will sprout wings and take to the skies. And today, we showcase even more advanced technology. A glimpse into the future. A world first. A demonstration of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. A man will literally be disassembled by a pulse of high voltage electricity and beamed to another location. Whereupon his body will be reassembled by a series of complex calculations exactly as it was before. In but a few moments from now, this gentleman will, in the blink of an eye, complete an incredible journey through the air. To arrive an instant later on the Crystal Tower behind you!
This one! Yes! Whoa! Yes! No! Please! That's not what I wanted!
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to go very well. It's like, even if it worked, it still raises a handful of questions that I don't want to get into right now. So let's just focus on the present, I think. Bruno, are you listening? Oh, sorry, what was that, Iris? What's the matter with you? You've been miles away all morning. Didn't you like what I cooked for breakfast? No, that's not it at all. What were we talking about again? Today's paper! It's full of news about the Great Exhibition again! Ah, yes, the Great Exhibition. I'd like to go sometime. You're really not your usual self today. You seem very down. Don't you agree, Hurley? Well, yeah, I'm the one that's down. Did you say something, Iris? Oh gosh, you're even more down! When did you arrive, Mr. Naruhodo? I've been here for about half an hour already. We had breakfast together. What? Why didn't you mention before? I thought you weren't blind. I, thought you might have known I was here, you know, because breakfast? Iris is quite right. You're clearly lacking in vim. So much so I didn't notice your presence. Thanks. Of course, I could deduce the reason perfectly well with some simple observations. What? Let's see. Yes, for example, your tousled hair this morning with all its unruly spikes. Clearly, it can be deduced therefore that... let me stop you there, Mr. Sholmes, because I think I can see where this is going. My hair always looks like this. It always has, ever since we first met, in fact. Oh, really? How interesting. It just doesn't look like a haircut as such, I suppose. Thanks again. It crossed my mind recently that it's been 6 months now. 6 months? Since I was forbidden from working in court. So I've been wondering how much longer I'm going to be banned. Oh, well, that would explain why you seem rather glum. Don't you agree, Hurley? Did you say something, Iris? Ah, back to moping. Seriously, what's with him? So bipolar this morning. What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes today? He seems even more down in the dumps than me. I know, and the Great Exhibition has opened. You think he'd be excited? I read that horribly. Oh, why don't we all go see it together? I want to! Of course I do, but I can't! Not for the time being. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because I'm a great detective after all. So you're embroiled in some tricky case that you can't be distracted from? Is that it? I don't remember hearing that you're working on a case, Hurley. I suppose I should try to find out what's going on. Well, let's get back to it. Let us engage with the great Sherlock Sholmes. 6 months ago. Recap time! Half a year ago now, I took on the defense of a young girl in a trial heard at the Old Bailey. What at first seemed like a simple case of murder that took place at a London pawnbrokery turned out to be one part of a much more far-reaching plot that involved the British government. During the course of the trial, it was found that I made an unavoidable, yet at the same time, unforgivable mistake. Words fail me. This situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo! Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord. In the end, I had my right to represent people in court revoked. I was told I had to spend my time in research and study, so that's what I've been doing. You have, haven't you, Runo? Reading all those big, fat tomes about British law up in your room, and the notes about Sholmes' old cases. Brewing out some special blends of tea, fetching my daily bread for me. You've become something of a manservant around here. Start on the silver next, but Master Naruhodo. Shut up. Well, I'm thinking of going to ask the powers that be to reconsider. Specifically, Lord Strongheart and the British Supreme Court on Whitehall. Lord Strongheart? Ah, the delightful Lord Chief Justice. Not my favorite fellow. He's not mine either, but he's the man I have to talk to. He's the only one who can grant permission for me to start working in the courts again. I came to Britain to become the best lawyer I could. And I can't do that just sitting around here. Alright, well, here's a little bit of a recap. Be sure to watch my videos on the final case of the first game to kind of figure out what exactly happened. Because, oh boy, that was a case. Anyway, Great Exhibition. The whole of London has been swept up in this great exhibition, hasn't it? The most advanced science, the most modern technology, the finest works of art, and feats of engineering. For the next 6 months, our capital will be showcasing these things, and the world will be watching. Oh, do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to look down on London from one of those lovely balloons. Look down on... Do you mean those things? Fly? Yes, of course. They fly high in the sky and don't even need wings to do it. All you need is hot air. But how? How does hot air have anything to do with flying? It makes no sense. I can't understand it at all. That's true of a lot of new scientific discoveries. Most people can't understand them at first. But in 100 years' time, all these things will just be common knowledge. I suppose they might be. Mind you, some of the science being demonstrated seems very questionable. Something went wrong on the open experimentation stage yesterday, apparently. There was a huge explosion. Still, I wish I'd seen it though. I'd love to see how bad some of these scam experiments really are. Iris, a man probably died. Says the innocent 10-year-old girl. See here. Every page of this paper carries some article or other about the Great Exhibition. But the brighter things shine, the darker the shadows that are cast behind them. Personally, I find myself drawn to the darkness, to the impenetrable. That is my proper atmosphere. The Great Exhibition newspaper has been entered to the court record. A newspaper containing various articles about the world-leading science and technology on show at the Great Exhibition being held in London. Okay, probably need that later. Shadows cast behind? Is that a metaphorical way of referring to the back page of the paper? Somehow I doubt that. Are you investigating a particularly tricky case at the moment, Mr. Sholmes? You could say that, I suppose. Nothing more to add? That's not like you. What sort of case is it? Shh! Quiet, Mr. Naruhodo. We must not discuss it here. You never know who might be listening. We're not quite at that stage of technology yet. Isn't that right, Siri?
Of course not.
You're acting very strangely, Hurley. What do you mean, Iris? Well, usually, the more mysterious and complicated cases, the better Hurley's mood. Ah. Is it really a case that's bothering you? Iris, please! You must exercise your astute powers of observation and deduction on me without invitation. Remember what I always say. Put yourself in the shoes of the individual about whom you're making deductions. Okay, like, he's putting on a serious face, but it's like, dude, you're such a hypocrite. You say that, do you? You, Mr. Sholmes. Never mind. Once I've had a cup of tea, I must make my way at once to the crime scene. Ah, that was a deep sigh. Okay, well, let's check the court record and see what we have here. Oh, so many glowing reports about the Great Exhibition and everything that's going on here. Other than this rather gloomy looking one, that is. Wait, what? What's the matter, Bruno? The Reaper attacked. That's Lord Van Zeeks! This must be what Mr. Sholmes was talking about. Does he know any more, I wonder? Okay, so we've made that little observation. Why don't we go ahead and present that article to him, see what that does for us. Mr. Sholmes, about this. My dear fellow, without wishing to sound rude, I'm currently in the middle of a very important blink. Are you kidding me? Perhaps some other more convenient time, Is there a set time for your important blinks, or are they an all-day affair? Just so I know. I'm gonna take a look around, see if there's anything particularly out of place for me to examine here. Every time I look at that machine, I can't help thinking what a monstrosity it is. What's it called again? The Great, Analytoscope? Okay, the Great Analytoscope. It can analyze absolutely anything, you know? It does seem incredible, and at the same time, incredibly useless. But it looks impressive, doesn't it? So that makes it very useful. How does that make it useful? Because it means you can pawn it for lots of money. Okay, you know what? That's fair. That's a valid argument. The pawnbrokers always make idle remarks like, "What an incredible looking machine!" So Hurley often takes it to the pawn shop when he's a little short. It sounds like this thing pulls its weight around here more than I realized by having its weight pulled around. Maybe something about the typewriter? I can type with my eyes shut, you know. I can believe it. When a deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun. That reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one. It woke me, actually. I was typing for a whole hour in the pitch black, but I didn't make a single mistake. That's incredible. But then, when it got light, I found that there wasn't any paper in the machine. Now I wonder if I'd actually been typing at all. I think he might just have fallen asleep on the job. Poor Iris. I look forward to finding out what aroma your tea will have, Iris, every single day. Well, I infuse a different concoction of herbs from the garden every time, so it's never the same twice. When you call it a concoction, it sounds more like a science experiment than something for tea time. Oh yes, that's because different blends can have very different properties. Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly, some give you energy. Today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat. That sounds ominous. Let's try to see if there's anything else. Okay, so there was something else to observe in the court record, well, the newspaper. Every article on the front page is news about the Great Exhibition. Public experiments to demonstrate brand new scientific ideas, culture exhibits from around the globe. It's also positive and hopeful about the coming century. We must all go see it properly before too long. Aha! There was a new option. The Reaper attacked. I just didn't go back to the conversation. Okay, let's talk to him about the Reaper. It says in the paper that Lord Van Zieks was attacked. That's terrible. You know the legend of the Reaper, the Bailey, of course, don't you? Only too well, in fact. Yes, Prosecutor Barrett Van Zieks. They say that if the Reaper is the prosecutor in a case, there's no salvation for whoever's in the dock. Even if the defendant is found not guilty. Once the Reaper has someone in his sights, one way or another, that person's time left on this earth will be short. London's finest rogues always find ways around the law. They'll sub at nothing to secure an acquittal at trial. Falsifying evidence, paying sham witnesses, threatening jurors, bribing judges. But even such devious tactics as these cannot save them from the hand of the Reaper. As you've experienced yourself, haven't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I've seen the Reaper's retribution at work. Many of these criminal rogues are reckless and quite unafraid to die. If a leader among their fraternity is seen to have been taken by the Reaper, retaliation like this does occur. Really, the capital has a never-ending supply of such scoundrels. So, do you mean Lord Van Zieks has been attacked like this before? This isn't the first time? He's quite an accomplished combatant, you know. He doesn't take these attacks lying down. Although, it seems that his assailants were armed with guns this time. Oh my goodness! Is he alright then? Is Lord Van Zieks hurt? My dear fellow, how on earth would I know? Okay, you know what? Also, fair point. Well, in the article here it says, as to what of Lord Van Zieks and his condition, all will be revealed in tomorrow's morning edition. Ah, I see. Well, we shall have to be patient then. No, I can't wait until tomorrow. In that case, you shall have to inquire with somebody in the know. But who? Lord Strongheart, perhaps. There we go. Well, I must be leaving now. Yes, understood. See you later, Mr. Sholmes. Ha! You really are a shameless liar sometimes, my dear fellow. What? You seek to put me off my guard and follow me, don't you? Well, you would be wasting your time. The thought hadn't crossed my mind. But now I'm wondering where you're going. Well then, see you later indeed. Listen to him. He's still laughing on his way out of the door. What? Alright then, Uno, let's get going. Oh my gosh, he's Mickey Mouse. Oh, Iris, what are you wearing? I've got changed to the Great Exhibition. You're going to take me. Oh! What? But I was just about to go to the Supreme Court. Oh, well that sounds fun too. You're going to take me there then. Don't point it at me while telling you where to go. Alright, fine. Just lower that weapon, would you? Of course, and after the Supreme Court, then we'll go to the Great Exhibition. Okay, yeah, a real variety in places to go. Let's go to Lord Chief Justice's office. The office of Lord Chief Justice Strongheart in Britain's great capital city, London. Its grand stone architecture and the echoey tick of the vast cogwheels lend it an air of authority. Can I have my job back, please? Feed the birds! Toppin's a bag. It's been about 6 months now since I was last here. But some things never change, like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. What the heck? Doesn't seem to be bothering Iris at all, though. She's happily reading over there. Oh, I love this place. Always find so many interesting books here. You've been here before? Of course. I was forgetting that you've been here before. Well, I'm glad one of us remembers. The time we came here 6 months ago. Oh yeah, that's right. She was here with us when we inquired about the matter of Susato leaving. That's right. Okay, no, that's just on me. When Susato's son was given the news that she wants to return to Japan. Ah, I understand you wish to speak with me. Oh, Lord Strongheart, I trust you've been keeping well? Let's see. Since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds. I've kept you waiting a while. My apologies. Oh, no, not at all. I like nothing more than standing around staring into space. Good to know. Good to know that doesn't appear to bother him at all. Male Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You need only savor the air for a moment in this grand office to understand his preeminent status. As you will be aware, the Great Exhibition of London is now underway at last. We're extremely busy as a result. Policing the grounds, guarding the new technologies, dealing with petty crime. And furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Symposium. Oh, I've not heard about that. Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, including from your own land. Forensic science is the future! The world must embrace it! As we are the hosting nation, I have much to do. And it is my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it. Well, it's nice to know where I stand. So, you wish to consult with me? Of course, I can very well imagine what this is about. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, my lord. I want to be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer again in court. That's what brought me here today. But actually, there's something else playing on my mind as it happens. Bruno, just take a deep breath and come out with it. Oh! I promise to only do that joke maybe 2 more times, if the situation allows it. Let us converse. I actually came here today to ask for your permission. Go on. 6 months ago, my right to work in court as a lawyer was revoked, and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened, but the thing is, it made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system. And I desperately want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the courtroom again. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Here it comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you are a substitute for your compatriot. This was never your intended role. Well, that's true. The Japanese government actually sent my best friend on this study tour, not me. It should have been Kazuma. He was so determined to bring change to our own justice system at home. That was his calling. If that tragic accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in this office now. Mr. Asagi was my best friend, you see. That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I have to fulfill his calling for him. His calling, you say? Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling? Sorry? The mission with which that young law student was charged. What do you suppose it really was? What do you mean? Mission? He's not making any sense. Never mind. I've read all the reports you've submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions and have been studiously obeying your revised instructions. Do you mean... As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's wonderful news, Bruno. In fact, I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback. A curious affair. You'll consider it, I hope? Of course, please tell me more. Alright, let's talk about that little curious affair. You described it as a curious affair. Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. Are you aware that there was a serious accident at the Great Exhibition yesterday? Oh, no. Yes, I read about it. A professor from Germany tried to carry out a crazy experiment. Let me see, how was it described? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I think. Instantaneous kinesis? As in movie themes with a click of the fingers? That's right. It's just what my herbal blends need, a dash of devil-may-care. Whatever this serious accident was exactly, has clearly captured Iris's imagination. It's an unfortunate business. A large explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage and a man lost his life. A certain Mr. Odie Asman, an investor and a well-known figure in society. A large explosion? A man died? The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert Haresbr... Albert Harebrain! Gee, what could that possibly sound like? He was denied immediately after the incident and is due to appear in court tomorrow. On the charge of murder. What? Murder? If you intend to take on his defense, you should hurry to meet with him at the prison. There is very little time left for you to carry out any kind of investigation. The Great Exhibition, a scientific experiment gone wrong, and murder? I feel out of my depth before I even started. Still. We should go to the prison straight away then, and try to meet with this German professor. Don't you think? Definitely! Ah, yes. One more thing about the case. There's a connection with our mutual acquaintance, the Reaper. Oh, with Lord Van Zeeks? How? Alright, well, I think we need to talk about the Forensic Science Symposium before we can get to that little whatever. All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world to coincide with the Great Exhibition. And next month, the largest and most important of them all will take place at last. The International Forensic Science Symposium. It does seem as though criminal investigation needs to embrace scientific methods, doesn't it? Exactly! Ah! London, the global epicenter of culture, science, and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate. So it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and resolve cases as effectively as possible. Which is what's known as forensic science, isn't it? Exactly! The future of policing! Or policing. Ah! Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensic methods. Oh dear, that's alarming. Exactly! It's extremely alarming! Ah! If I were Her Majesty's Attorney General, you can be sure the numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. And I can cite 12 solid arguments and 223 individual reasons to support my claim. Yeah, honestly, I'm convinced with just that. I don't even care if you name one of them. Sorry? By way of apology for keeping you waiting earlier, I shall detail everyone now. Please don't! What? Oh, how fascinating! It all began 15 years ago. I was... I'm fading away. Oh my god. It's so boring. Oh my god. And that more or less sums up my feelings on the matter. It's the simplest of terms, of course. Yeah, real simple. Nothing but dots. Essentially, to formally establish a forensic investigation division with Scotland Yard. That is my mission. Oh, right, yes, that's wonderful. Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it will be. Iris isn't paying attention at all. She's got her nose in another book now. Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful? No. I actually drifted off for the most part. He's surprisingly ardent about forensic science. Okay. I'm just gonna see if this will do anything. Oh, that reminds me. Have you seen this? The reports of the overwhelming success of the Great Exhibition? Of course. No, not that. The story on the back page. What story? The Reaper attacked. Ah, that. You've enjoyed some victories in court against my #1 prosecutor, have you not? Poor Mr. Reaper. What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he? There is no need for concern. Lord Van Zieks would not be so easily dispatched, I assure you. Can you tell us what happened? I'd really love to know. Very well. If it interests you. It does, strangely. I want to know. It's like, I love Van Zieks. He's such a good prosecutor and just so full of energy. He's great. Fortunately, Lord Van Zieks emerged from the attack unscathed. Street ruffians are no match for that man. He's a very capable fighter. But that's incredible! They were armed with guns! Why was he attacked, though? Do we know? It's related to events that occurred a month ago. A leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicted and prosecuted by Van Zieks. But the man was acquitted. I've no doubt large sums of money were involved behind the scenes. Large sums of money? A deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite winning his freedom, the man in question met a dramatic end yesterday. But you're not suggesting that it was the work of the Reaper, surely? The victim's henchmen certainly seemed to think so. He was a man by the name of Asman, Mr. Odie Asman. Did you say Asman? That's the man who died in the bridge explosion at the Great Exhibition. Yes, known publicly as an investor, but in reality, the head of a significant criminal organization. Unbelievable. I wonder, can I ask you something, Lord Strongheart? Try me. Why do you use Lord Van Zieks as a prosecutor? All the criminals who manage to get off in court then meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom. And fearful of that fate, they seek to strike at Lord Van Zieks first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in that sense, but still. Something's clearly going on here. I have Van Zieks work for the prosecution service for 2 reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths of criminals that have occurred outside the courtroom following his trials are nothing to do with him. But that doesn't make sense! How can you explain the way so many have died, if not by someone's hand? Van Zieks may have earned himself the moniker of the Reaper, but he is no killer. So he will continue to prosecute on behalf of the Crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. Well, I must be leaving for my next engagement. I'm already 11 hours, 16 minutes late. My colleagues may be starting to fidget. 11 hours late? That's quite something. That meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. So lateness was inevitable. Time stops for no man. I'm sure it stopped for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Oh yes, where would I find Lord Van Zieks now? I would assume he's at his office. Right, I'll go and ask him about the attack in person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth. Oh, we get to go to his office? Oh, please, let me go to his office. Away with you now. I'm leaving Professor Harebrain's defense entirely in your hands. Of course, yes. Thank you very much, my lord. All right, please, please. Yes! I want to go to his office so bad. The private office of Lord Verifenzi, so the prosecutor's office building. Please. Yes! Oh my god, it looks so cool! Oh, so this is a legendary Reaper's office? Yes, it appears so. Huh, sends a chill down your spine, doesn't it? What an amazingly deathly atmosphere. Look at all those jealousies! Oh, is that? Oh my god! That hooded figure was so still, I hardly noticed his or her presence. I wonder who it is. What are you doing here? Ugh! My dude! He's as unwelcoming as I thought he'd be. Actually, maybe even more so. Oh, I'm glad to see you're well. I am. So, who's the person over by the wall being punished for something or another? No punishment is taking place here. Oh? That's my apprentice, and he's sitting there of his own free will. I didn't know you had an apprentice. It must be the same person who is pictured in the newspaper. He's very able in combat, a requisite skill for anyone under my tutelage. Are you referring to the attack on the Reaper that was reported in the papers? The Reaper? I'd be interested to know the Reaper's true identity myself. Assuming, that is, such a fabled fiend genuinely inhabits our great courtrooms. Oh, I'm talking to you, my guy! This is the coolest office ever! Lord Shankard said that the assault last night was some sort of revenge attack? True. Carried out by henchmen of Odie Asmon's criminal organization. The investigation meant their arrests were imminent. Presumably, some hoped to kill me before that happened. Odie Asmon. He's always masqueraded as one of London's most powerful financiers, a global investor. But his enormous wealth came to him by underhand means, by his criminal activities. And he used that money to buy himself a verdict of not guilty when he found himself in court, didn't he? Being prosecuted by you, Mr. Reaper. But the man got his comeuppance in the end. Yesterday, in fact, in extraordinary circumstances, it was the most unusual case of death. I know about that. It was super high voltage instantaneous kinesis gone wrong. Mr. Asmon died when the demonstration on public experimentation stage ended in an enormous explosion. Correct. And you think I have some kind of divine ability to cause an accident like that to happen, do you? Well, no. That does seem a little far-fetched. If this man really is the fabled Reaper, then he has to be innocent of this particular death, at least. It's strange how this has worked out, isn't it, Runo? I mean, what with you taking on the professor's defense for the trial tomorrow? What? You're going to be defending him? Oh, yes, that's right. Though I barely know the man's name yet, to be honest. Albert. Albert Harebrain. That's right. Do you know him by any chance? Of course. He's a contemporary of mine. We were at university together. Oh, he knows him! You're... What?! Oh, we talk. I had understood that Professor Hairbrain was from Germany, though. Hairbrain's from a respectable British family. After graduating from the University of London, he moved to Germany to carry out research. That's all. So you were students together? I was in the Faculty of Law, of course, and he in Science, so our paths rarely crossed. But curiously, we got along, though I've not met him since my university days. I certainly didn't expect our next encounter to take this form. And with you, of all people, representing him. Only if I make it out of this office alive. He's actually been charged with murder, it seems. Yes, I know. Because the prosecution will be handled by me. Well, of course it will, because you hate me. By you? But you made it sound as if you and the professor had been friends. We are friends, it's true. Then why would you do this? Because I hate you. If the Reaper is the prosecutor, there's nothing anyone can do to save him. He's doomed. What's Lord Van Zeek's thinking? Alright, let's talk about your identity as the Reaper. What do you mean by what you said before? If you'd like to know the Reaper's true identity, does that mean I'm a crown prosecutor and a mortal like any other? I'm no demigod. But they've all died, haven't they? The people you've prosecuted, I mean. Whether or not the trial ended in a conviction or an acquittal. Those I prosecute are the vilest wretches of our society. People who, without question, deserve to be found guilty. The world is a better place without them. But that's not true of Mr. Natsume, for example. He wasn't a vile wretch at all. Nor was Ginny. In fact, she's ever so hardworking now. I can't deny that since I encountered you, things have taken a turn. But the point is this. If any of those vile wretches that escaped justice subsequently died in mysterious circumstances, it was at the hand of their own kind. It's not my work. Lord Strongheart said the same. He believes you're not involved in any way. But you were attacked by those ruffians because they believe it's true. The fact is, since people started to call me the Reaper of the Bailey, the number of serious crimes in the capital has dropped substantially. Oh! It would appear that even the most hardened criminals can be made fearful for their lives. Do you mean to say... I mean to say that if my pseudonym serves a useful purpose, I adopt it gladly, and with honor. But it's putting you in danger! You could be killed! If that is my fate, let God decide. Amen! Lord Van Zeeks. Honestly, what a absolute legend. Alright, I'm gonna present the newspaper to him because it's worked out for Lord Strongheart earlier, so. Lord Van Zeeks, about the article in this paper. Yes, it seems there was a reporter nearby when that little skirmish took place. I had no idea I'd been photographed. It was careless of me. It looks as though it was taken after the people who attacked you run away, though. Rest assured, the police have already apprehended every last one of them. But there's someone else fighting alongside you, it seems. And I think it's the same man who's sitting over there as we speak, isn't it? As I mentioned already, he's my apprentice. I just noticed the bats. They're just bats hanging out in his office. That's so cool. Perhaps you could tell us a little more about him? He's in my tutelage to become a prosecutor. So you could say he's my apprentice, I suppose. Well, you said that he was your apprentice, so yeah, I will call him that. Ah, like you are to Hurley then, Runo. I don't remember taking an apprenticeship with a great detective. He's currently compiling a report about last night's attack. It looks like he's wearing some kind of mask. On Lord Strongheart's orders. Nobody knows the man's face, or indeed his identity. But why would you agree to take on such a clearly suspicious individual? Lord Strongheart's orders again. He's not one for meaningless follies. There will be a good reason for his actions. I hope you're right. Ooh! You look really cool, dude! Ah! The task is complete? Good. In that case, you can collate all the briefs. Nice to meet you? Okay, just fade away. Thank you. Back to work again. That was really strange, though. I've never met the man before. I didn't even know he existed, and yet somehow it didn't feel like our first encounter. Don't bother trying to converse with him. He says nothing to anybody from outside this office. Lord Strongheart has strictly forbidden it. Oh, I see. Why are you so interested in my apprentice anyway? Oh, no, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to... The way he stood there so casually, yet with that flawless posture. It couldn't be. Couldn't be what? What do you mean it couldn't be? What couldn't it be? Yes. There's something I've been meaning to ask you. Oh, what's that? That Nipponese man, is he faring well? Sorry? The one arrested twice in succession 6 months ago, with the stoop, and the mustache, and the jitters. Ah! Mr. Natsume, you mean? I'm not sure he'd be pleased to find out you identified him from that list, Runo. He's fine, thank you. In fact, I received a letter from him by international post only the other day. I see. Well, I think we can end our discussion there, don't you? There's little time left before tomorrow's trial. I advise you to spend it investigating the case. Yes, thank you for the advice, and for the conversation. I can't believe he's asking after Sosuke-san, after a Nipponese. I'm not sure whether to feel happy about that or worried. I never imagined that Mr. Reaper would be friends with a mad scientist, did you? That's a turn-up for the books. A mad scientist? Ah, you mean Professor Hairbrain? Yes, it might be worth quizzing the professor about his relationship with Lord Van Zeeks, I think. Okay, well, thank you for your time, Mr. Reaper. You and your apprentice and your office have been spectacular, but we have things to do. This is the best day ever. Now let's go to prison, again!